So, hi and welcome to the Rising Stars webinar for July 2023. Just a quick introduction for those who are new to the Rising Stars webinar. My name is Karima and I'm the marketing manager for GRB, and I'll be hosting today. So as the marketing manager, I oversee candidate growth, overall marketing activity of GRB, and having worked here for 4 years now, and in all different departments, I've got a wide range of experience over the years. So along with that, I manage GRB's affiliate program, which allows students to recommend us in exchange for excellent rewards and incentives. I also organize the yearly events we go to, such as any careers events or freshers fairs. I also look after our free mentoring program, our one-to-one mentoring program, which is called Graduate Mentor. So I will tell you a little bit more about that a bit later. And of course, I manage Rising Stars. So firstly, a little bit more about us as a company first. So then we can move on to our wonderful candidates. So the GRB Group was founded 26 years ago by Dan Hawes and Chris Cater, the two gentlemen on the screen. So they have grown it to become the go-to platform for university students, recent grads, alumni, and recruiters as well. So we actually have over 75 staff now and over 2,000 clients across all different sectors, with clients such as big as Amazon, IBM, Unilever, Ocado, and several other SMEs as well. And all of our recruitment experts have successfully matched thousands of students with either graduate level or executive level jobs. So we're not the average recruitment agency. We have many other aspects to us, including two experienced hire division. So first of all, we have Cortex. So we supply IT grads for up to 5 years of experience. Then we have Metrica, which supplies numeric grads with up to 5 years of analytical experience to organizations all across the UK. We also then have Graduate Mentor, which I mentioned earlier. So this was launched in August 2020 as a free platform for graduates and students to have one-to-one mentoring sessions with experts in their field. Now we have over 6,000 graduates on that platform as well, and over 300 active mentors, and they all kindly volunteer their career advice, CV help, interview tips, and a whole range of other things as well. Next, we have our LinkedIn groups. This is just a number of LinkedIn groups that we have where we have discussions with recruiters and students and graduates about their experiences. Next, we have GRN. So that stands for Graduate Recruiters Network. So this is an invitation-only group for clients and associates. And we actually have over 3,400 members now. And we talk about various issues within graduate recruitment. And we actually have regular monthly webinars to discuss this as well. And next, of course, we have our Rising Stars. So excuse me, this came about by our recruitment experts contacting students and graduates and identifying those who really stood out. So this is a really great opportunity for graduate employers to see through a shop window of our pick of the UK's finest talent. Now, every month, our team of experts carefully screen and select who they think they are exceptional students, essentially the best in class for 2023. So we showcase a short list of 50 rising stars on our website, enabling you to view their profiles, request a CV, and the access is actually entirely free as well for employers. So every 2 months, we host a short webinar just like this one, where we interview a small selection of our rising stars to discuss more about what they're looking for from an employer and what they want to start their career. So as you can see, there are many facets to the GRB group, and I thought I'd just give you a little overview so you can get a good understanding of who we are as a company today. So now we're going to find out about our 4 rising stars we have today. So I'll have them introduce themselves and give a brief overview of their background, and we can find a little bit more about them. So John, would you like to go first? Just introduce yourself.
Okay, thanks, Karima. Hi, everyone. I'm John, and I've recently graduated with an integrated master's in natural sciences at the University of Bath. So I majored physics and I minored chemistry. And I think, yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed peer mentoring at uni, and I've also taught primary level maths to students. and I'm just looking to really build on what I've learned at uni and do a job I really enjoy.
Brilliant. Thanks, John. And Kayleigh, would you like to go next?
Hi everyone. So I'm Kayleigh. I've just graduated from Lancaster University with a degree in advertising and marketing management. And within the third year of my degree, I actually completed a placement at Stanley Black & Decker, where I was working in the central digital marketing team. So I'm really looking for a graduate role that helps me build on these experiences and skills that I learned within this year. Hopefully a role within central London, where I can explore an even wider range of functions within marketing. And in terms of the actual industry I'd like to go into, I'm quite interested in travel and hospitality or beauty and wellness. However, I'm really open to exploring a range of sectors just to see where my passions best align. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
Great, thanks, Kayleigh. And Joe.
Hi everyone, hope you're well. I'm Joe, I'm from Sheffield. I've just completed my degree in BA Business Management, which I got a first in the University of Sheffield. I've had a lot of different past work experiences. I've worked in customer service, worked in production, worked in marketing as well. And I've done a lot of voluntary opportunities. So I've been in Zimbabwe for 21 months before going to university. I've organised graduation events. I've led a lot of youth groups and lessons for adults as well. And I'm looking for a graduate scheme and something to do with business management, business consultancy and business development.
Fantastic. Thanks, Joe. And Precious, how about you?
So hello, I'm Precious. I studied at UCL. I did chemistry management. I'm quite eager in developing my analytical skills and in particular developing my data analytics as well as my modeling skills as well. I'm quite interested in looking into sustainable finance and its integration in investment strategies. I think that's something quite interested in. I did an internship actually a couple of weeks ago in Veritas Investment, and I did it in investment management. So I'm quite interested in like asset management, investment management. I'm really integrating that and like adding in kind of my unorthodox degree. I know it's chemistry STEM, it's a bit different from finance, but really kind of integrating both my science, my innovations and my way of processing and finding kind of more productive ways of coming to solutions and having meaningful impacts in projects. That's ultimately what I would want to do in my role. Yeah, and I would also want to like focus in central London as well. Just add that in.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, guys. It's really interesting to kind of know what you've already kind of experienced already and what you're looking for as well. So you've finished your studies now. Some of you have gotten your grades. Congratulations. And you're free and ready to enter the world of work. So what would you be looking for in your employer? What are your expectations of your next role? John, would you like to go first?
Okay, I guess I'd say I'm looking for a company that sort of regularly reviews my own progress and gives me regular feedback, so I get sort of professional opinion on what I'm doing well at and what I can do to further improve. And I feel building on that as well, I'm looking for a company that encourages interactions and collaboration to create a friendly work culture where people are comfortable communicating with each other. So that could be in the workplace or I guess outside the workplace in social events. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, John. And Kayleigh.
So I'd say probably the biggest thing is an organisation that values employee development. So through offering training programs and exposure to like a diverse range of projects. So I want a role where I can like continuously develop my skill set and push beyond my comfort zone. I find that I work best and learn most when I'm like putting myself in challenging positions. So I'd expect that from an employer. Secondly, I'm really interested in roles that offer sort of a rotational aspect where I can try out different business functions. I think especially for a marketer, this sort of allows for a more comprehensive strategy in terms of marketing. So yeah, definitely rotational aspect. And then lastly, clear expectations and goals. So to know exactly what the employer is expecting from me and what I need to do to fulfill those goals, what I can work towards. And it just means that what I'm doing is more focused and means I actually feel like I've got a sense of purpose. So those are definitely my three top things.
Great. Yeah, definitely having goals to achieve and to strive for is really important, and development, and definitely a rotational, like for example, a grad scheme would be really good for someone just fresh out of university, just so you can experience all the different aspects of the company and the job that you're doing. So yeah, really great points there. Joe, how about you?
Absolutely. I'm looking for a company that is forward thinking and progressive, because obviously coming out of university, I graduated last week, I had my ceremony last week, and I want to go into a company that I'll be there for long term. It's not just doing something on a whim, saying I'll be there for like a graduate scheme for 2 years and then I'll go somewhere else. But I want to build a career at this place. And so somewhere that is forward thinking, it's progressive, it's either in terms of technological advances or sustainability, it's gaining those advantages over its competitors is something that I'd like to see in a company. I'd say in terms of a role for myself, it's been mentioned, but career progression and personal development's obviously massive. You want to see where you can go in 2, 5, 10 years time. And that's a big one for me, because I've often had checkpoints that I've had put down in my life, and I'm very driven when it comes to those situations and seeing where I can go and what I have to do to get there. And I often chase down all of the kind of goals and challenges that I set myself to achieve that. And then last of all, I'll say just something that's people facing. I love getting to know new people, their backgrounds, where they're from, what they're doing, and building that strong relationship and rapport. And so having an opportunity where I'm in a grad scheme where I have a lot of interaction and a lot of interaction with different people is something that I would value a lot.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Joe. And Precious, how about you?
So for me, I look for an employer and a company that kind of values diversity and inclusivity, and one that is committed to environmental sustainability and social responsibility. I think that that's quite key for me. Also one that fosters in a collaborative and supportive work culture, where I feel like my voice can be heard, I can have a meaningful impact in projects, and I can really allow my ideas to be seen. I would also expect my role to be quite challenging and quite dynamic, because I think that that's what I like. I like putting myself in challenging situations. I like getting new information firsthand and really analysing it and being quite analytical. I would also say that I would want it to have opportunities of continuous growth and learning, because that's what I think would keep me encouraged and motivated to perform new activities. And yeah, that's good.
Definitely. Yeah. Learning on the job is really important, isn't it? And just constantly learning. Just because you finish university, you don't then just want to sit in the same position the whole time, do you? You want to be able to keep learning. So really, really great points there, guys. Thank you. And so then it's really useful to find out about your criteria, but let's talk about then the negative side. So the red flags. So what would stop you from going forward with a company? What would put you off? John, would you like to go first?
Sorry, it cut out a bit then.
That's okay, no problem. Did you hear the question?
Okay.
Oh, is your internet going a little bit? That's okay. And so basically, I was just asking what would stop you from going forward with a company? What would be a red flag that would put you off?
Okay. I think building on what everyone's already said before, but I think sort of any company which makes it clear that they expect to employ like a finished product. I think it's the case for a lot of graduates, but we picked up so many skills throughout our lives and in our education. But importantly, we have so much time to grow, so many opportunities. And so whether that be professional skills, technical skills, or soft skills, I think a company that expects this all from day one and doesn't offer opportunities to learn, grow, and develop would stop me going forward. So definitely if they treat that as sort of afterthought, and I'd really appreciate a clear pathway in terms of career progression as well.
I think you're on mute at the moment.
Thank you. No, thank you for that. Yeah, no, I was just going to say about it's almost like you're going for that entry level job with that you need 10 years of experience for, so you want to try that. That's not a great way to start out, so it's really important to kind of look out for that for sure. Kayleigh, how about you?
So I'd probably say like my biggest red flag would be a completely remote role. So my placement was mainly online, so I sort of missed out on those face-to-face interactions and actually like team building and office life. So I'm really excited for the opportunity to actually get into the office and sort of contribute to team bonding. So yeah, completely remote role. And secondly, sort of an absence of a social work culture. So I'm really looking for an employer that's wanting that really values collaboration and a strong sense of community. So I'd say like an individualistic culture would put me off of applying. And then a last point would definitely be, as I said before, really, an absence of expectations. If they're not very clear and transparent in what they're expecting from you, I think this would be a big red flag. And I feel like as though I wouldn't really thrive in the company.
Great, thank you, Kayleigh. How about you, Joe?
Yeah, I'd say obviously companies all have career values on their websites, and a big red flag would be seeing that these companies aren't upholding those values. A lot of the time I've had things like interviews or meetings where, one of their values will be punctuality, and then I'm on there 10 minutes before and they're 10 minutes late. And that's just kind of a big red flag that they're not keeping their values. You can have other experiences with things such as inclusivity, and then you'll go online and look at employee reviews, and people will say I was treated differently, people were treated better than me, and just that kind of not keeping to their values is a big red flag. And kind of going along with what I said before, reviews online is massive. We'll probably get along to it later, but employees' views on how the company is, on their experience of the company, is the real deal, because it shows what they've been through and what I could go through as an employee. And so if those employee reviews are bad, then obviously that's another red flag as to how my experience would be if I was to go along with that company.
Great, thank you, Joe. And Precious, how about you?
For me, ultimately, yeah, if the values do not align with my own in terms of inclusivity, as I said earlier, and collaboration. So for me, for example, I do work well when I'm able to talk and communicate and have that face-to-face interaction with not just my teammates, but also clients. I feel like if I'm just isolated off somewhere else and I don't really get that client interaction and yeah, then that's something that probably may not make me want to apply for the role. Additionally, for me as well, is if there's no opportunities for career advancements, I think that might also kind of like put me off, because I would like to grow in my role. I want to get more responsibility. I want to learn, and yeah, I think that's quite important for me. So if the company doesn't have that, then yeah, I probably wouldn't want to go forward.
Right. Thank you so much, guys. So then as you've come to the end of your university career and you've learned a lot on the way, but are there any new skills that you'd like to develop or any existing skills that you want to improve on? Joe, we'll start with you. John, sorry, apologies.
Sorry, thank you. In terms of skills I'd like to develop, I guess I've been lucky in my degree to be sort of exposed to all these different sort of topics and develop these skills. I guess I've particularly enjoyed learning how to code, data analysis and plotting, and we use a lot of Python for that. And I think I have a good foundation, but I'd love to sort of build on that and I guess grow a larger skill set. I mean, I've made my own alarm clock. I've made the snake game, which you've probably seen those Nokia phones, which is definitely something. I guess also in terms of soft skills, I consider myself a team player and a good communicator, and I'd love to take that opportunity to work in teams and further develop these skills. And something which I guess I've not had a lot of experience with is a leadership role. So I think definitely given the opportunity, I'd like to take that on. I feel like I can work under the pressure and given responsibility, I'd like to further my skills in a leadership role.
Brilliant. Thank you, John and Kayleigh.
So I think the number one thing for me is public speaking skills. I think this is a skill I definitely worked on within my degree and on placement. However, I really think that there's always opportunities to improve in this area. And I'd love to be able to learn from either external courses or just from my colleagues on how to best engage listeners, how to best engage your audience. So that's definitely number one. And then secondly, as John said, leadership skills. So again, this is something I definitely improved on through my placement and through my degree. However, definitely through just gaining new responsibilities, more responsibility, new projects, I really want to just practice and learn how to be the best leader I can be. So yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, Kayleigh. Joe, how about you?
Yeah, I'd say 2 skills which I've been able to develop over the last few years that I'd like to develop even further. First of all would be leadership. Seems like a pattern between us all. When I was doing my voluntary work in Zimbabwe, it was for the church that I go to. So there was a lot of meeting with people that I'd never met before, sharing what I had with them and then setting up appointments for later time. But there was about 80 people in the south of Zimbabwe where we were, and I was chosen to be a leader over about 30 of them. So organising conferences, compiling and presenting performance reports, setting goals for us all and motivating individuals. And through just going through that experience, it was fantastic because I was able to see the effect that I had on the team and we were able to achieve success beyond what we were expected of. And that's something that I'd love to put into practice in a business role, in a business setting, and being able to motivate such a group of individuals to success. And second of all, I would say problem solving skills. I love solving problems. It's something in my DNA that gives me a lot of fulfillment when I do. And being able to have that in a role where I have problems come my way that put me out of my comfort zone and allow me to grow is something that I have seen affect me greatly in the past and a skill that I'd like to work a lot on within my future role.
Great, thanks, Joe. Yeah, leadership does seem to be the theme between most of you. So that's really good to hear. You know, it's ambitious as well. It's really important to kind of gain those skills as early as you possibly can. So Precious, how about you?
Yeah, so I've always been eager in enhancing possibly most of my skill sets. To begin with, I would most likely firstly want to enhance my knowledge on industry trends, trying to really try and understand that and develop that further. I would possibly want to enhance my analytical skills even further. So by kind of developing my knowledge on modeling and data analytics that I've gotten from my labs, I think my computational labs that I was doing in university, I was quite interested in that, and I really do want to apply that while I'm in a workforce. I also would possibly want to further enhance my problem solving as well, and really finding ways, like I like getting to answers, I like finding shortcuts. I think that's something that always motivates me and encourages me. I get really happy if I find one. And also ultimately my communication skills as well. I want to be able to communicate things effectively, efficiently, and really kind of motivate and persuade people with my communication as well into like believing my points and stuff. And ultimately is leadership, just like everyone else. I think having a role where you can lead, where you can where you are kind of here to motivate everyone on your team and make sure that, you know, they are completing things and they feel included as well. I think that that's something that I'm quite interested in developing and furthering in my role in the future. So yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, great. Thank you. So yeah, all of those points, I think each of you touched on a similar aspect of each of those points. So yeah, really great thing to look out for in a company. So then after you've been invited to an interview, for example, I'm sure you'd want to know a little bit more about the company. So how would you research the company and find out as much as possible about them? What avenues would you take? John, would you like to go?
I think these days probably everyone's first stop is the company website. I guess a good website will have a lot of great information about the company, about what they do, what they value, maybe what they're looking for applicants. And I guess I'd be on the lookout for things like case studies to get a better idea of the context of who they work with and what they do. I guess another thing you might want to check a lot is the news. Especially sort of what recent developments and articles have been mentioned regarding the company. Is the general consensus of what they do positive? And do I personally agree with what they're doing? These are all sort of questions I'd be asking myself while also considering the company's, I guess, financials and potential. And then the last bit is obviously we've looked at how the company views itself on the website, and then how an outsider sees it, and then probably trying to come into contact finally with people on LinkedIn or just people you know who've worked in the company or have worked in the sector and what they think of it really, their personal experiences with it and how that might work for me.
Great, thank you, John. Kayleigh, how about you?
So again, with a company website, what I was going to say is I normally go through the website and just sort of make a list of anything that really stands out to me. So whether this is awards or initiatives, and then I'd go and do further research on from that. And then secondly, definitely looking at social media. So seeing what sort of content they're posting on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and also seeing how they're engaging with their audience. I think definitely as going into marketing, this is particularly important to sort of see what I'd be getting myself into. And then a final point would definitely be, as John said, news articles and also reviews, like whether this is on Glassdoor's, just to sort of see a less biased perspective of a company, and to just be able to form a more like a fuller, honest opinion going into that interview. So yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kayleigh. Joe, how about you next?
I think this question has been answered fantastically so far. A lot of my points that I had have been taken. I'll just try and rephrase them differently. Starting with Glassdoor, it's a fantastic place. I've been on there for a lot of different points. You have percentages on there. There's 2, which I believe are percentage of people that would recommend to a friend and percentage that recommend the CEO. And sometimes they are very low, sometimes they're very high, and they're great telling points. And then obviously the employee reviews are down below, and that shows how they're treated in reality and how all of the values of the company really do come into play. One interesting one that I saw one time was the question was like, why would you leave this company? And the person said retirement. And I think that's a massive telling point of how good that company was, but potentially looking at other companies as well going forwards, looking at them and seeing if there's any positive reviews like that, I think it's massive. And then just finishing with the kind of new things that's been touched upon. I said at the beginning that I want to enter a company that's progressive and it's forward thinking. So obviously looking at the company and what advancements they're making, the public perception and the engagement that they're making through social media and LinkedIn is massive for me.
Brilliant. Thanks, Joe. And Precious, how about you?
Mine will probably be similar to everyone else's as well. So for me, I think the first thing I'll probably do is go on LinkedIn, try and get first-hand experiences and really understand their work culture in a non-biased approach as well. So I would possibly also look at Glassdoor as well and see what people are saying about the company and how how basically you can advance. How likely it is for workers to be able to advance in that career as well. So that's what I'll probably search up on Glassdoor and look at as well. And ultimately, I would have a look at their website, look at their values, their culture, and also kind of have a look at industry reports as well, just to see how they possibly compare towards like competitors with similar roles within the industry and see how their reputation aligns, especially within like environmental sustainability and their ethics, and possibly have a look at their financial performance as well, and then see how that might link with their environmental sustainability, and maybe see how active they are in investing in those projects as well. I think, that's possibly what I would possibly look at.
Thanks so much, Precious. Yeah, so just to kind of summarize, I think definitely looking at their competitors, like you mentioned, really good point to kind of see where they are in that industry. Like social media, like Kayleigh touched on, I think it's a good way to kind of get the company's personality. How do they present themselves on LinkedIn, Instagram? Do they have social media? Are they a modern company? And obviously as well, like the Glassdoor reviews. I mean, you do kind of have to take them with a pinch of salt sometimes. People might be sour, but however, I think it is a really good insight into, like you said, Joe, about the retirement comments. So I think that's a really good thing to look out for. So thanks, guys. So then after you've consulted all of these aspects that we've just discussed, what is kind of the final deciding factor that would make you really want to apply for a job? What would stand out that would be like, I want that job? Joe, would you like to go first, actually? We'll switch it up a bit.
Yeah, I would say the excitement that I feel. I've had a lot of different work experiences in the past that I said earlier. And before all of them, it was a situation of, I can't wait to tell my family about this. I can't wait to get started. I'm so excited to do extra research into the company that I hadn't done before and just kind of really see myself in that place and have that burning desire to start. And that's something which is quite special and something that kind of shows me that, you know, this job is for me. And I'll say, second of all, is how well it fits with my long-term goals. I've got a lot of goals that I've set and how well it aligns with them and how well it would allow me to become the person that I want to be in X amount of years would be the second point.
Great, thank you. And Precious, would you like to go next?
Yeah, so for me, I think if the role itself kind of aligns with my career aspirations and also kind of my personal values. So I'm quite keen on environmental sustainability. I think I've repeated it quite a lot. So yeah, so if they're environmentally sustainable and if they really do value their corporate social responsibilities and cater towards that, that's something that definitely make me want to apply, as well as just the work culture as a whole. I think that's possibly even the most important point. If I know that I will fit within the team and really like get along with everyone, network, and be able to have also interpersonal relationships, because I do like to have that closer relationship with people that I work with as well, and just being able to get along with everyone. I think that if I know that I'll be the right fit within the team, then I'm definitely going to join. So
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Precious. Yeah, sustainability is a massive topic nowadays, and it's really important for companies to really shout it loud if they are in that kind of realm. So really important points. John, would you like to go next?
I think first of all, I've loved everyone else's answers on this, and I agree with so much of that. I feel like it's a difficult question because obviously so much research has gone into just finding a job and then submitting an application, doing your interviews. But I think for me, the final thing is just whether I believe in what the company's doing, their potential, and whether what they do is beneficial to people. And I guess it's also important to remember it's a bit of a two-way thing. So am I a good fit for the company and is the company a good fit for me? I think a lot of the time, like, you will want to encompass so many things into this in terms of work culture, values, diversity, and overall, I think you just want to take a holistic view and come to a final conclusion based on that.
Great, thanks so much, John. And Kayleigh.
So I think for me, the biggest thing is definitely just having that opportunity to be a part of meaningful work. So knowing I'm actually making an impact. I've had like internships before where you're just given jobs just for the sake of ticking a box, filling your to-do list. And I'd really want to make sure I'm going to have the opportunity to make an impact and be a part of the company's growth. So that is definitely the biggest thing, I think, for me.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Kayleigh and Precious, Joe, and John. So, lovely. We'll just get back to put my screen back on. So it's really, really great to see and hear all of your insights into what you're looking for. And I really wish you all the best of luck for the rest of the year. So just to mention for those who are watching, you can access our Rising Stars by visiting the link in the description below. It'll be grb.uk.com/rising stars, and clicking View Rising Stars will give you each person's info with a short bio about themselves, and then you can also view the candidate to request their CV. So if you would like to contact me with any questions, all my details are on the screen just there, and will be in the description below as well. So thank you all so much for watching the webinar. We'll be back with more Rising Stars next year. So this is the final cohort. But I just want to thank John, Kayleigh, Joe, and Precious as well for joining us today and letting us know a bit more about you and what you're looking for in an employer. So thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.